I am trying to figure out when Front Street's going to be opening because it's been 6 months. It's 6 months and a bit here, as Front Street should be opening in between Begbie and Columbia due to the Pattullo Bridge replacement project. It's been shut down for quite some time. For the time being, keep using Royal, but stay tuned for more information on that one. Over at the Cambie Bridge, one lane in each direction. That's roadwork going on. Over at Kingsway at Boundary, that's also roadwork going on. Very heavy eastbound right now. Hard to get away from this one. Down to 49th or Imperial Street to really get away from that south of Central Park. And over in Langley, 232nd at Highway 10. That's a roadwork project that has you down to one lane in each direction. Highway 10 eastbound, very slow. Pardon me, there's a single lane alternating traffic. That's why it's so slow through the area. Anything else, though? Star 1130 is the number to call. Safe and hands-free. With traffic brought to you by Indian Bombay Bistro Burnaby. Burnaby and New West's portal to authentic modern Indian cuisine crafted with pride for 25 years. 7558 6th Street, Burnaby and IndianBombayBistro.com. We're in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center with meteorologist Carl Lamb.
Well, we will have some sunshine throughout the day, but by tonight, we'll have partly cloudy conditions across Metro Vancouver. Temperatures will max out at about 8 degrees today and then drop down to an overnight low of 2 degrees. What you will notice is that it is a little breezier, especially by the water for tonight, but we are not expecting much fog to develop. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
11:30 News Radio Time. It is 1:03. The Coquitlam RCMP have arrested a suspect in connection with a series of sexual assaults. Mounties say 9 women had stepped forward to complain about a man grabbing their rear ends as they walked by. Several of the incidents happened in Burquitlam, while a couple of them were in Glen Park along Pipeline Road. The Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner says it's launching a public hearing to look into alleged misconduct by 7 Vancouver police officers in the 2015 death of Miles Gray. 33-year-old Gray died after Vancouver police responded to a 911 call reporting that a man was acting erratically. In October, the police chief for a separate police department who was conducting a disciplinary process found that the officers didn't commit misconduct, but also noted the framework discipline proceedings limits the testing of evidence and said there were discrepancies in statements made by members that could not be cross-examined. This public hearing will be open to the public, and Gray's family and other parties might be called to participate. Dates for the hearing have not yet been set. Vancouver police say a 68-year-old woman has suffered life-altering injuries after she was hit by a car last weekend. VPD say they were called to Cambie and West 57th around 8:30 Saturday morning. The woman had been crossing the street when she was hit by the driver of a black GMC Sierra. Police are asking anyone who witnessed the collision or who has dash cam footage to get in touch. BC Highway Patrol is recommending DUI charges after a semi-truck driver slammed into 4 parked cars in Port Coquitlam on Monday. Police say they responded to calls of a semi driving erratically on the Maryhill bypass. The driver slammed into the parked cars before police arrived on scene. BC Highway Patrol is recommending 2 criminal charges, with Corporal Michael McLaughlin calling it unbelievable that a professional driver would consider operating a vehicle of this size while impaired. In addition to the 2 criminal charges, the 42-year-old driver has had his BC driver's license seized and is facing a 90-day administrative driving prohibition. The identity of the 42-year-old Surrey man will not be revealed until his first court appearance in Port Coquitlam in March. 11:30 News Radio Time. It is 1:05, 8 degrees in Vancouver. The high-profile plan to densify neighborhoods along Broadway could undergo some changes today. Monica Gould is outside Vancouver City Hall, where council is set to discuss a staff report, which includes a recommendation to cram even more people into the area, something that likely won't sit well with people who live nearby.
The plan has been controversial at times. Just last month, hundreds of residents gathered here for a rally calling on the city to pause the plan, saying buildings are too high and the plan will change neighborhoods too much. And just this week, about 20 developers and planners signed an open letter to the city calling on the city to rethink the plan, saying it has caused profit speculation, land banking, and flipping.
City Council is also looking at a few other issues, including moving the iconic East Van Cross from its current location. If you've ever driven past Clark and East 6th, you have seen the sign. Today, ABC City Councillor Mike Klassen is putting forward a motion to move the public art, citing poor visibility in its current location. Councillor Klassen says the cross was meant to be a legacy of the 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Games, but it's turned into something greater.
Ken Lum, when he originally created the piece, probably couldn't have predicted how important this art has become.
Klassen says he wants the cross to stay in East Van and envisions creating a destination that locals and tourists can enjoy, including some amenities. The City Council meeting is currently underway. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland has hailed the Bank of Canada's key interest rate cut today as good news. She suggested the government's economic plan is working as the federal Liberals have been struggling to make a political comeback since inflation and interest rates took off. The central bank cut its interest rate by 0.5 percentage point to 3.25%, but signaled a slower pace of rate cuts moving forward. Economists are now widely anticipating the Bank of Canada will scale back its cuts next year to 0.25 percentage point reductions. The strike at Canada Post is in its 27th day, and the two sides appear to be getting even farther apart rather than closer to a deal. It's not great news for your holiday cards with Christmas and Hanukkah just 2 weeks away.
Calling it unaffordable and unsustainable, Canada Post is dismissing the latest proposal from the union. The Crown Corp acknowledges postal workers are offering a lower wage proposal, but claims the overall demands have actually increased and will cost the company $3 billion over 4 years at a time the organization is losing money. The union is now requesting a 19% raise over 4 years, while Canada Post is seeking 11%, and the two sides still can't agree on how to implement weekend deliveries. A federal mediator called off talks 2 weeks ago because the two sides are too far apart and won't resume negotiations unless they prove they're close enough to get an agreement. 55,000 workers walked out nearly a month ago, and the federal government has no plans to intervene and force them back on the job. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
When you need to know, 1130 News Radio is here 24/7. Now with more local breaking news, traffic and weather on evenings, overnights, and weekends. Coming up in 30 seconds, your 1130 Ferry Report.
1130 News Radio, Vancouver.
It's time to go to a place you'll adore, where holiday cheer is always in store. Find gifts of all types where joy's in the air. It's all yours to love this Christmas at Kensington Square. Shop kensingtonsquare.ca.
Don't miss the London Drugs Weekly Flyer. During the Canada Post disruption, you can still find London Drugs Weekly Flyer in-store or online at londondrugs.com/flyer. That's londondrugs.com/flyer.
Now the 1130 News Radio Ferry Report. Here is Alex Kerrigan.
All aboard. Right now, Tsawwassen to Source Bay, ticketing the 3 o'clock, 65% sold. After that, at 5 o'clock, 75%. Tsawwassen to Duke Point, 315 is just under half sold. And Horseshoe Bay to Departure Bay, 345 is about 35% sold. So as we've been noticing for a few days, it's getting popular on your way to Victoria. If you're on your way to Nanaimo, they're spaced out a little bit further, but you got a lot of room on these boats. You can double check it on the website, vancouver.citynews.ca/traffic.
Traffic and weather are together next in 60 seconds. 1130 News Time. It is 1:10.
This hour of City News is brought to you by Global Carpets and Hardwoods. The world at your feet.
From right here in Canada to all four corners of the world, the good folks at Global Carpets and Hardwoods bring the best flooring from around the globe home to Vancouver. Global Carpets have all the top flooring brands in stock and ready to go. Hardwood, laminate, vinyl, carpet, area rugs, and more. With speedy and professional installation available. Just head to the Globe at Marine and Heather or visit globalcarpets.ca. Global Carpets and Hardwoods, the world at your feet.
The Bailey Nelson sale is here with up to 60% off prescription glasses complete with standard single vision lenses. Now is the time to come and see them. That's frames and lenses, everything from just $99. And with expert eye exams available in every store, you can sort your prescription and glasses all in one trip. Use your vision benefits on the glasses you really want. Book an eye exam ad and find your perfect pair at BaileyNelson.com or visit your local store today. Terms and conditions apply.
It is 1:11 now to the 1130 News Radio Traffic Center. Here again is Alex Kerrigan.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a bah humbug here because it turns out that Front Street, the closure has been extended. It was set to reopen on December 17th. Now Front Street will remain closed until March 17th. So sometime in spring is when you get Front Street back. Now, of course, this is in relation to the Patella Bridge Replacement Project. We're all excited for that thing to come on and replace the old Patella Bridge. But the point being, Front Street's been closed down for 6 months already. And again, it's an extension, which we appreciate knowing about. But March 17th is when you get Front Street back now between Columbia and Begbie. We do appreciate the update there. Thank you for the call. There is some road work going on over at Kingsway at Boundary. You're down to 1 lane each way on Kingsway. It's a tough one to avoid. You could try Imperial Street to get down and away from it. Oak Street at 70th. Of course, we know about this one. It's 2 lanes each way on Oak Street. It's down to 1 lane on the Cambie Bridge. Cambie Bridge road work has got you down to 1 lane each way. Northbound quite busy. Try the Granville Bridge instead. And if there's anything else going on, star 1130, pound 1130. They both work to get you into the newsroom. Just do it safe and hands-free. Don't miss the London Drugs Weekly Flyer. During the Canada Post disruption, the Weekly Flyer can still be found in-store or online at londondrugs.com/flyer. We're in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center now with meteorologist Carl Lamb.
For the rest of the day today, we do have temperatures getting up to about 8 degrees. We will have an easterly wind around 20 kilometers per hour. It could be a little bit gustier by the water, but all in all, pretty calm and quiet for tonight, partly cloudy, down to a low of 2 degrees. Then for tomorrow, we are bringing in some cloudy conditions and also the chance for a few rain showers, especially as we go through the afternoon and evening, with a high of 6 degrees and a low of 5. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
And your weather's by the Turkey Farmers of BC. This fall and winter season, get cozy with the delicious turkey dinner supported by British Columbia's Buy BC Partnership Program.
Coming up next, your top headlines and sports. 11:30 news time. It's 1:13.
How about now? Nope. But you can say late fall. Instead of winter? Oh, I'm still not ready for that. But you should be. Hey, it's Jeff, owner of Turn 3 Autosport. Now's the time to get your vehicle ready for late fall. Thank you. Experience an exceptional alternative to the dealer and book your service appointment today. Our team's passion and commitment will have you wondering why you didn't visit us sooner.
Turn 3 Autosport, born out of a passion. In Langley and at turn3autosport.com.
A flexible circle of diamonds that glitters and twinkles and sparkles and shines just like she does.
Give the woman you love a flexible circle of diamonds this Christmas.
Some people call these flexible circles tennis bracelets, but this magnificent bracelet isn't about tennis. It's about the magnificent woman who wears it.
A 1-carat total weight tennis bracelet featuring star-born created diamonds is just $1,499.
Christmas morning. Think about Christmas morning.
Spitz. Wow! Open late in Vancouver and Langley.
Vancouver's trusted news. 1130 News Radio.
It's 9 degrees in Vancouver. Good afternoon. I'm Amy Beeman. Here's what's happening right now. Coquitlam RCMP have arrested a suspect in connection with a series of sexual assaults. 9 women complained about a man grabbing their rear ends as they walked by. Vancouver police say a 68-year-old woman has suffered life-altering injuries after she was hit by a car on Saturday morning. It happened on Cambie and West 57th. Anyone who witnessed the accident or who has dash cam footage is asked to get in touch. Time for 11:30 News Radio Sports from Sportsnet 650, the home of the Canucks.
The Canucks trying to take the positives from an overtime loss to the Blues last night at Rogers Arena. Thatcher Demko returned to action, looked pretty good in goal. They did manage to battle back and send the game to overtime, so that was a positive. And Elias Pettersson picking up another 2 points, continuing his hot streak since JT Miller went out of the lineup 10 games ago. Pettersson has 15 points over that span. Head coach Rick Tocchet joked in his post-game scrum that the media is just obsessed with asking about Petey.
That is a legitimate question. He's producing. I'm screwing around with you. Like he's been producing that JT's been out. Hopefully with JT coming back, those guys will both produce like they did last year for us. So yeah, 1-2 punch.
Miller could be returning as early as tomorrow when the homestand continues against the Florida Panthers. Just 2 games in the NHL today. Rangers taking on the Sabres at 4 o'clock. Ducks and Senators getting going at 4:30. The Whitecaps have locked up a pair of midfielders for next season, signing J.C. Nagando and Ralph Prizo to new contracts. Both deals have club options for 26 and 27. The Caps picked up Prizo, a 22-year-old Toronto FC Academy product, in a trade with the Colorado Rapids last February. They picked up the 25-year-old Nagando, 5th overall in the 2023 Super Draft. FIFA has announced the 2034 World Cup will be held in Saudi Arabia. That was the only country bidding on it. They also announced Spain, Portugal, and Morocco will co-host the 2030 World Cup, with Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay each getting one of the 104 games. 2 quarterfinal games in the NBA Cup today. The Hawks taking on the Knicks at 4 o'clock. The Warriors and Rockets tipping off at 6:30. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour anytime. Sportsnet.ca.
1130 News Radio Sports is brought to you by the Vancouver Giants.
The stars of tomorrow, the Giants of today. White Spot Vancouver Giants hockey brings you thrilling WHL action at an affordable price. Watch 2025 draft-eligible Cameron Schmidt tear up the ice alongside NHL draft picks Connor Levis, Tyler Thorpe, and Colton Roberts as they lead the charge at the Langley Events Center. Don't miss your chance to see the NHL stars of tomorrow today. Get your tickets now at vancouvergiants.com/tickets.
Own the moment, own the season. In a new Mitsubishi from Applewood Mitsubishi. Right now, enjoy lease or finance rates starting at 1.99% on select models, including the Mitsubishi Outlander and Eclipse Cross. Plus, receive up to a $1,000 no-charge winter tire credit. That's kind of a big deal. For all the details, visit Applewood Mitsubishi in the Richmond Auto Mall and online at applewoodmitsubishi.ca.
It's all good at Applewood. Welcome back to 1130 News Radio. I'm Amy Beeman. Prince George RCMP is tallying the haul from a recent bust. They say drugs and several high-power firearms were seized late last month after officers saw a man set a stolen car on fire. Mounties say the officers then gave chase and arrested the suspect a short distance away as he tried to escape in an awaiting taxi with 3 other people. All 4 have been arrested, with 3 released pending charges, while the 4th remains in custody. In the weeks leading up to the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, friends and family worried about the accused shooter, Luigi Mangione. Reporter Lionel Moise has the story.
His mother last month filed a missing persons report in San Francisco. A former roommate in Hawaii says Mangione struggled with a back injury.
The severity of his back issue was such that it was very difficult to have physical relationships with women.
In addition to back pain, Mangione also posting about brain fog and sciatica, at one point writing, "It's absolutely brutal to have such a life-halting issue."
Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, about 370 kilometers west of New York City, and is currently fighting extradition to New York to face charges. 2 agents with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security are in trouble with the law.
According to court documents, 2 Department of Homeland Security agents in Utah sold drugs that were previously seized as evidence. The alleged scheme involved an informant and brought in up to $300,000. According to an FBI affidavit filed in the case, the agents sold an illicit synthetic drug commonly known as bath salts, which experts say is similar to methamphetamine, cocaine, or ecstasy. The transactions typically involved 1 ounce of the drug for $5,000 that would then be sold by the informant at a higher cost. Investigators say searches of the agents' homes turned up cash, drugs, and other evidence. I'm Norman Hall.
Fruitcake may be one of the most disliked Christmas treats, but have you ever wondered about its origin?
It's the love it or hate it holiday baked good.
We all like to dunk on it. We all like to pretend that we hate it, but we still make it. We still buy it.
That was Brian Earl, the host of the Christmas Past podcast. On his show, he explained the origins of fruitcake began as an energy bar that originally consisted of barley mash, pomegranate seeds, raisins, and pine nuts.
And some version of that has been around since Roman times as just more like portable calories to kind of take with you when you're traveling or on the battlefield.
He says during medieval times is when it began to look more like the fruitcake we know today.
There was even a time when it was banned for being quote-unquote sinfully sweet. It was the Victorians who really put the finishing touches on it. They added one very specific touch, which was alcohol.
I'm Eva Fragiscatos.
1130 News Radio, your traffic and weather are next.
Making the mean streets
nicer
with traffic reports you can trust.
Updated every 10 minutes on the ones.
1130 News Radio Vancouver.
Have you been disinherited? Were you left out of your parents' will? Did your siblings inherit more than you? At Ronald Kumar Law, they will fight to ensure you get a fair inheritance. British Columbia law allows for a disinherited person to challenge a will, but there are time limits to contest a will. So contact Ronald Kumar at willdisputes.ca to book a free consultation today. Ronald Kumar Law. We only get paid if we win.
James Carter here. Towing, camping, gardening, building, off-roading, hauling, and doing truck stuff with a mountain of torque, 310 horsepower, and amazing gas mileage. I'm not telling you a bedtime story. I'm telling you about GM's new 2.7-liter high-output engine. Tows like a V8, uses a fraction of the gas, and it's in the new Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra. So you can have your truck and drive it too. From Carter GM.
In Burnaby and in North Vancouver.
11:30 News Radio in the traffic center. My name's Alex Kerrigan. Thanks for tuning in. We are, of course, seeing some delays over at the Massey Tunnel. Stalled vehicle has cleared up, so just a little bit of a slowdown there. Don't worry about it too much. You can always use the Alex Fraser Bridge. It's wide open here. Over in New West, thank you for the update. Front Street will remain closed in between Begbie and Columbia. The extension goes until about March 17th, so a few more months of Front Street closure. So, the last 6 months, you got to know Royal Avenue really well, and you get to know Royal Avenue a little bit better. We work our way away from that, over to the Cambie Bridge. Northbound delays because northbound's down to one lane. Southbound's also down to one lane. Just worry about some slowdowns for the Cambie Bridge. Try the Granville Bridge or the Dunsmuir Viaduct instead. Not much going on in and out of the North Shore. Highway 1 through Vancouver and Burnaby is fine. Highway 1 is working way into the valleys, okay, but a heavy project today is slowing it down in Langley, 232nd at Highway 10. And flaggers are on the scene, single lane alternating, obey their instruction, but maybe avoid that 232nd/Highway 10 on-ramp to Highway 1. Anything else? Give me a call at star 1130. It's Canadian Tire's Christmas Rush Sale. Dash in and save up to 35% off Christmas trees, lights, and decor. Sale ends December 12th. Conditions and exclusions apply. We're in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center. It's meteorologist Carl Lamb.
So we're high temperature for today, 8 degrees, and we will have a bit of a breeze out of the east, around 20 kilometers per hour, but some of those gusts could be a little stronger as you get closer to the water, but 2 degrees will be the low tonight with partly cloudy conditions. For tomorrow, there could be some sun early, but it's really just a cloudy day, and rain showers start to creep in the afternoon and evening. It's pretty light for Thursday with a high of 6 and a low of 5. And then for Friday, some steadier rain on the way, windy and a high of 7, and then still rain for Saturday and 9. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
Weather's by Wild Birds Unlimited in Vancouver and North Vancouver. Turn your backyard into a beautiful symphony of nature. Visit Wild Birds Unlimited today in Vancouver and North Vancouver.
Welcome back to 1130 News Radio. I'm Amy Beeman. In Southern California, 18,000 Malibu residents have been forced to leave their homes because of a fast-moving wildfire. CNN's Veronica Miracle is there.
The Franklin fire tripling in size in just 1 hour. At one point, scorching the equivalent of 5 football fields every minute since it ignited late Monday evening, prompting evacuation orders. The flames destroying some homes and threatening businesses, even the iconic Malibu Pier.
The fire has so far burned more than 12 square kilometers, driven by the Santa Ana winds. No deaths or injuries have been reported. The U.S. is warning that Russia might be ready to again use a new lethal missile against Ukraine in coming days.
Наши ракетчики назвали ее «Орешник».
It's called Oreshnik, and Vladimir Putin bragged last month no one else in the world has such a weapon. An intermediate-range ballistic missile, he says, can evade Western air defenses. After last month's launch, a U.S. intelligence assessment now says Russia may use the experimental missile again soon. A U.S. official says the missile's seen more as an attempt at intimidation and not a battlefield game-changer, noting Russia only has a handful of the missiles, which carry a smaller warhead than others regularly launched at Ukraine. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Britain's spy agency is celebrating the festive season with a riddle wrapped in an enigma inside a mystery. The Cyber Intelligence Agency published its annual Christmas Challenge, a seasonal greeting card that doubles as a set of very difficult puzzles. The goal is to excite young minds about solving ciphers and unearthing clues. The agency says young people aged 11 to 18 are encouraged to work in teams and use lateral thinking, ingenuity, and perseverance to crack the brain teasers. The Christmas Challenge has been an annual tradition since 2015. A Christmas favorite comes to the Orpheum this weekend. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet is in town to perform the Nutcracker. You can follow the adventures of Clara, her Nutcracker Prince, and the Sugar Plum Fairy as they discover the magic of a distinctly Canadian holiday season. There are 5 shows running from Friday until Sunday.
Christmas news
25 minutes past the hour.
on 1130 News Radio Vancouver.
1130 News Radio All Christmas News is brought to you by Barkbusters, a better way to better a dog. Visit barkbusters.ca.
Winning cash has never been so easy.
With the 1130 News Radio Escalating Weather Guarantee.
Hey, it's meteorologist Michael Coos. Listen weekday mornings at 7:11. If I miss the day's guaranteed high by more than 2 degrees, you could win over $1,000. And every day I get it right, the jackpot keeps growing. Why haven't you entered yet?
The 1130 News Radio Escalating Weather Guarantee.
Enter now for your chance to win.
At vancouver.citynews.ca/contest.
Shares in Meta today hit an all-time high. That stock up by more than 2%, going as high as $638.40, higher by 78% this year, even as the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp reported a technical issue impacting some users' access. Now, Wall Street finished the day mixed. The Nasdaq hit a record high. It moved above 20,000 for the first time, and it closed above that mark, up by 347. The S&P up by 49. The Dow went the other way. It was down 99. The Bank of Canada cutting interest rates by 50 basis points for a second straight meeting, but that's likely it for the half-point cuts. And that is a change. Jules Boudreau is senior economist at Mackenzie Investments.
It says something like, we'll evaluate the need for further cuts as data comes out, which is, in my view, a huge change.
Markets are pricing in a pretty good chance that we see another quarter point cut in January. The Canadian dollar right now is higher by 0.1 cent, 70.61 cents U.S., while the TSX saw a rebound after 2 losing days. It was higher by 153 points, 25,657. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
The Business Report is brought to you by Urban Auctions.
Urban Auctions Langley is the best place to sell your valuable collectibles or to liquidate your estate. Get top dollar for your quality sports cards, comics, antiques, records, and video games. To consign or to get a cash offer, call or email us at urbanauctions.ca. Also, if you're looking for super deals, Urban Auctions has hundreds of items to bid on. Check us out at urbanauctions.ca.
Hey driver, you know what that is? That's the sound of your new vehicle from Used Car Dealer of the Year, BCS Auto Sales. With BCS Auto Sales financing, we go the extra mile to get you approved, guaranteed. Working with over 20 lenders, we're able to get you the best rate, terms, and conditions for your vehicle loan. Specials include no money down and no payments for 6 months OAC. With hundreds of quality vehicles to choose from, it's no wonder why we are Used Car Dealer of the Year 7 years in a row. Shop with confidence in person in South Vancouver or online at bcsautosales.ca.
11:30 News Radio. Airlines are seeing record demand this holiday season, but travel experts say there are still some bargains available.
If you're still thinking about taking a holiday trip this winter, choices could be slim, but there are still deals out there. Katie Nastro is with Going.com, and she says some flights could be 30% off if you're flexible.
It might be cheaper to travel on one airline going to a destination and then traveling back on another airline.
Nastro says if you can also be flexible on your date, you can get some of the best discounts. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
CKWX is 11:30 News Radio. Terry Shintz is our news director. 11:30 News Time. It's 1:30.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 1130 News Radio, Vancouver.
Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, December 11th. I'm Amy Beeman. 8 degrees with some clouds in Vancouver. Here's what's happening right now. An arrest has been made in Coquitlam after a series of sexual assaults. 7 Vancouver police officers will face a public hearing over allegations of misconduct in the death of Miles Gray. BPD need help investigating an accident that left a woman with life-altering injuries over the weekend. A controversial plan to densify a busy Vancouver neighborhood goes before City Council today.
There's some positives coming out of the overtime loss to the Blues last night. The Canucks getting goalie Thatcher Demko back from a knee injury. The Whitecaps locking up a couple of young midfielders for the 2025 season. Sports at 45.
The TSX jumps by more than 100 points. Back-to-back half-point cuts at the Bank of Canada. And the Nasdaq closes at an all-time high. Business at 56.
It is 1:31 now to the 11:30 News Radio Traffic Center. Here is Alex Kerrigan.
Thank you very much, Amy. We are not seeing a delay. The George Massey Tunnel anymore. Pardon me, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Just trying to remind everyone that the Massey Tunnel stall's been cleared and out of the way. All the volume is gone too. But we move ahead to Vancouver, where the real top issue exists. That's the Cambie Bridge. Cambie Bridge is down to one lane in each direction, and the Granville Bridge is one that you want to use to get yourself away from this one. However, there could be some trouble brewing here on 6th Avenue eastbound, closer to Alder Street. Now, last time we saw this delay, it was tree trimming. They were working on 6th Avenue eastbound by Alder, and they were doing some tree trimming with down to one lane. And then westbound by Oak Street, that's not causing a delay. So it looks like landscapers are on the scene, but they're only working in the one direction, 6th Avenue at Alder Street. Give me a call at star 1130 if you came through here. Let me know what we're seeing. We're not seeing much going on out of the North Shore, not anymore. Highway 1 through Vancouver and Burnaby is great. As mentioned, Alex Brady's Bridge is awesome. So is the Patello Bridge. But in Langley, roadwork taking place at 232nd at Highway 10. Obey the instructions of the crews that are on the scene. Quite busy through the area. And also still quite busy in Fraser Highway between 176 and 184, down to one lane each way. Traffic is being brought to you by Dueck Auto Group. Looking for an electric vehicle? Dueck Auto Group has the largest selection of EVs on the lot. Test drive yours today. 3 locations. Dueck Auto Group, where your electric future begins. 3 locations at DueckAutoGroup.com. We're in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center with meteorologist Carl Lamb.
Well, we will have some sunshine throughout the day, but by tonight, we'll have partly cloudy conditions across Metro Vancouver. Temperatures will max out at about 8 degrees today and then drop down to an overnight low of 2 degrees. What you will notice is that it is a little breezier, especially by the water for tonight, but we are not expecting much fog to develop. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
11:30 News Radio time is 1:33. A man has been arrested in connection with a series of sexual assaults in the Tri-Cities. Coquitlam RCMP say the man was taken into custody about a week after the first reports started coming in about a man grabbing women's rear ends. There were 9 reports filed. Several of the incidents happened in Burquitlam, while the others took place in Glen Park off Pipeline Road. The Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner says 7 Vancouver police officers will face a public hearing over allegations of misconduct in the death of Miles Gray. 33-year-old Gray died in 2015 after police restrained him in response to a 911 call of a man acting erratically. An external discipline hearing carried out by a different police department didn't find any misconduct from the 7 officers involved, but did acknowledge limitations in the disciplinary process and inconsistencies in statements provided by members with no ability to cross-check them. Dates for the new hearing haven't been set yet, but it will be open to the public, and Gray's family and other witnesses may participate. Vancouver police are asking for help in investigating a collision that left a pedestrian with life-altering injuries over the weekend. It happened Saturday morning just after 8:30 near Cambie and West 57th. The 68-year-old woman was hit by the driver of a black GMC Sierra. VPD are asking anyone who saw what happened or who has dash cam footage to get in touch with police. The BC Highway Patrol is recommending charges against a suspected drunk driver who was behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. The RCMP say the man was arrested Monday afternoon following reports of a semi-truck and trailer being driven recklessly along the Maryhill bypass and then Industrial Drive in Port Coquitlam. Mounties say at least 4 parked vehicles were also hit by the rig. A 42-year-old man faces several charges, including impaired driving, and the semi-truck was impounded for 24 hours. 11:30 News Radio time. It is 1:35, 8 degrees in Vancouver. The controversial plan to densify neighborhoods along the Broadway subway line is going under the microscope at Vancouver City Hall today. Our Monica Gould has the details.
The Broadway plan, which was adopted in June 2022, has a goal of getting more rentals and housing built along the Broadway subway, which is currently under construction. And people who live in the area have noticed the plan in action, with rezoning notices popping up in front of houses and buildings. In fact, the staff report going before council today says as of October 1st, there are 139 projects in the development pipeline.
Staff is now recommending further densifying some areas. Residents of Southeast Vancouver are speaking out after the Vancouver Park Board approved turning 2 parks into FIFA World Cup practice fields. 15 residents spoke at today's Park Board meeting, almost all opposing the proposal, which passed regardless. One major sticking point for local residents is the tree removal that would be required during construction. Tina Mack is the manager of park development with the Park Board. She confirms.
So, unfortunately, some trees do need to be removed as part of the training site development process.
In 2022, the Park Board signed onto the training sites agreement with FIFA, which requires the Park Board to offer up 2 sites for training purposes. The public will have access to the parks up until the World Cup, but FIFA will have exclusive access to them for 6 weeks while the tournament is underway. The East Van Cross has come to symbolize East Vancouver's working class roots, and today, Vancouver City Council has approved a motion to look at moving it. ABC City Councillor Mike Klassen says the cross's location has always had visibility challenges, noting it will almost be entirely obscured when a neighboring development is complete. Klassen says not to worry, though. The cross will stay in its original neighborhood.
It's not leaving East Vancouver, not 1 inch outside of the boundaries of East Vancouver.
Klassen says he wants to create a destination similar to other parks and public beaches where locals and tourists can enjoy the cross. He says he wants to include amenities in the new location and use the profits to maintain the monument, which is now over a decade old. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the Bank of Canada decision to cut its key interest rate is a step in the right direction to bring down costs for Canadians. He was quick to celebrate the widely expected 0.5 percentage point rate cut, as the federal Liberals have been struggling to make a political comeback since inflation and interest rates took off. The Bank of Canada says inflation is back at its 2% target and opted for 2 large rate cuts in a row because economic growth doesn't need to be restricted anymore. But it signaled a slowdown to pace the cuts moving forward. 27 days into the postal strike and still no end in sight.
It doesn't appear you're going to get to send those holiday cards anytime soon. Canada Post has released a new statement saying the latest demands from the union are unaffordable and unsustainable, claiming they would cost more than $3 billion over 4 years at a time the Crown Corp has been losing money and in financial straits. The union argues it's lowered its wage proposal in order to get closer to a deal. However, it's still asking for a 19% raise over 4 years, while Canada Post is looking for 11%. The two sides also continue to dispute how they should expand business to include weekend deliveries. The strike by more than 55,000 workers is approaching the 4-week mark, and federal mediation was put on pause 2 weeks ago. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
When you need to know, 1130 News Radio is here 24/7. Now with more local breaking news, traffic and weather on evenings, overnights and weekends. Coming up in 30 seconds, your 1130 Border Report.
Vancouver's trusted news. 1130 News Radio.
This is the perfect time of year to get engaged.
Think about all the Christmas parties and the New Year's Eve parties.
Everyone who cares about you will be conveniently gathered together.
Think about it.
And when you're done thinking, come to Spence Diamonds and try on hundreds of different engagement rings.
All the designer prototypes right out in the open.
Just pick them up and try them on.
You have our official permission.
And every ring has a price on it that includes all the diamonds.
Come to Spence.
It's time to get engaged.
Spence. Open late in Vancouver and Langley.
Border Report, brought to you by Pacific Blue Cross Travel Insurance. Buy a travel plan and your kids are covered free at pacificbluecross.ca.
Now the 1130 News Radio Pacific Blue Cross Border Report. Here is Alex Kerrigan.
Thank you very much. And every time we look at the borders, they get a little bit nicer. It's a 10-minute wait southbound at the Peace Heart crossing right now. Pack, Aldergrove, and Sumas. They're just about 5-minute waits as you were going southbound. Northbound times don't really seem to exist. They've been hanging on to these less than 5-minute times for quite some time. We just want to double-check the commercial vehicles. They're also less than 5. You can double-check yourself if you want on our website, vancouver.citynews.ca/border.
Traffic and weather are together next. 1130 News Time. It's 1:40.
This hour of City News is brought to you by Global Carpets and Hardwoods at Marine and Heather.
From right here in Canada to all 4 corners of the world, the good folks at Global Carpets and Hardwoods bring the best flooring from around the globe home to Vancouver. Global Carpets have all the top flooring brands in stock and ready to go. Hardwood, laminate, vinyl, carpet, area rugs, and more. With speedy and professional installation available. Just head to the Globe at Marine and Heather or visit globalcarpets.ca. Global Carpets and Hardwoods, the world at your feet.
Kerrisdale Lumber Home has found a new home. They're moving, but not before clearing out the entire showroom in a mega move-out sale.
Come shop clearance level discounts on everything in the showroom. Save up to 50% off big names including Weber, Traeger, Big Green Egg, and more. Plus, get clearance level discounts on barbecues, outdoor kitchens, outdoor heaters, pizza ovens, and more. So hurry in before January 31st to 6365 West Boulevard or visit them at carisdalelumber.ca.
It's 1:41 now to the 11:30 News Radio Traffic Center. Here again is Alex Kerrigan.
Thank you very much, Amy. Now, as we look around the lower mainland, there are some very noticeable slowdowns that you're going to want to avoid. One that keeps jumping out to me here is the intersection of Kingsway and Boundary. It's, of course, very central through Vancouver and Burnaby, but Kingsway, man, getting really slow in both directions, especially westbound through Burnaby. You're going to feel that from Patterson all the way out. But the issue here that I'm having, at least, is Central Park. I love Central Park, but because it's there, it takes away a lot of your detour routes to get down and away from this one, or even up and away from this one. Mosscroft doesn't connect through. Imperial Street does turn into 49th Avenue, but that really appears to be it. And it's pretty wide open, so if you can't get south of that one, that's your route away from Kingsway. We work our way away from that, Canby Bridge down to one lane each direction. Quite slow through the area. There appears to be some landscaping going on over at 6th Avenue eastbound by Alder Street, predominantly impacting eastbound traffic. Westbound seems just fine through the area. And, of course, that ongoing roadwork in Langley, 232nd at Highway 10, big delays all directions. Anything else going on, star 1130 is the number to call, safe and hands-free. Whether you help kids at BC Children's get home or make the hospital feel a little more like home, you can make a difference. Donate at makeusmighty.ca. To the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center, we check in with meteorologist Carl Lamb.
We'll get to 8 degrees for our high today, and that is above the seasonal average for this time of year, so another comfortable day. The winds are a little gustier right by the water, but that's about it. And then for tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 2. Now for tomorrow, we do have some sun early in the day, but then it gets pretty cloudy, and the rain showers are starting to creep in during the afternoon and into the evening. It's rather light for Thursday with a high of 6 and a low of 5, and then steadier rain is here for Friday. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
Weather's by JanPro, the leaders in commercial cleaning and janitorial. If your workplace demands a clean environment, contact JanPro for a free, no-obligation quote. Visit janpro.ca.
Coming up next, your top headlines and sports. 11:30 news time. It's 1:43.
Hey there, Canadian snowbirds. Planning your escape to warmer destinations? Don't forget the most essential part of your trip, travel insurance. Picture this. You're basking in the sun, sipping a pina colada, and suddenly life throws you a curveball. Medical emergency, delayed luggage, trip interruption? Don't worry. Goose Insurance has you covered. Canada's best insurance app. With Goose, you get $10 million in travel medical and get coverage for your unstable pre-existing medical condition. Download the Goose app today or visit gooseinsurance.com.
Drainmaster is your trenchless expert, specializing in water line, sewer line, and drain tile repairs without digging a trench. Call Drainmaster Plumbers at 604-739-2000. DrainmasterTrenchless.com. DrainmasterTrenchless.com.
When you stroll up to London Drugs this holiday season, get ready to add some festive flair to your basket. So crank up that Christmas magic this year and head to London Drugs. We're made for the holidays.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. 1130 News Radio.
It is 9 degrees in Vancouver. Good afternoon. I'm Amy Beeman. Here's what's happening right now. A man has been arrested in connection with a series of sexual assaults in the Tri-Cities. Coquitlam RCMP say the man was taken into custody about a week after the first reports started coming in about a man grabbing women's rear ends. There were 9 reports in total. And the Office of Police Complaints Commissioner says 7 Vancouver police officers will face a public hearing over allegations of misconduct in the death of Miles Gray. 33-year-old Gray died in 2015 after police restrained him in response to a 911 call of a man acting erratically. It's 1:45, time for 11:30 News Radio Sports from Sportsnet 650, the home of the Canucks.
There were a couple of goals Thatcher Demko would love to have back from last night, but overall, it was a good night for the Canucks' top goalie. Although he wasn't happy about the overtime loss to the Blues at Rogers Arena, there were some positives to take from his first game action since last spring. Demko battled through a knee injury to make his season debut last night, and it took a while to get comfortable again to the speed of the NHL.
For sure. I mean, I thought I felt better, as the game kind of went along. But yeah, I mean, it's just, the speed of things and, traffic in front of you is tough. And, Yeah, those are all just in-game reads that I think will get sharper over time.
The Canucks will continue their homestand tomorrow. The defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers making their only visit this season. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. The Canucks homestand continues tomorrow against the Florida Panthers. Puck drop on that one is 7 o'clock. Just 2 games in the NHL today. Rangers taking on the Sabres at 4 o'clock. Ducks and Senators getting going at 4:30. The Whitecaps have locked up a pair of midfielders for next season, signing J.C. Nagando and Ralph Prizo to new contracts. Both deals have club options for 26 and 27. The Caps picked up Prizo, a 22-year-old Toronto FC Academy product, in a trade with the Colorado Rapids last February. They picked up the 25-year-old Nagando, 5th overall in the 2023 Super Draft. FIFA has announced the 2034 World Cup will be held in Saudi Arabia. That was the only country bidding on it. They also announced Spain, Portugal, and Morocco will co-host the 2030 World Cup, with Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay each getting one of the 104 games. 2 quarterfinal games in the NBA Cup today. The Hawks taking on the Knicks at 4 o'clock. The Warriors and Rockets tipping off at 6:30. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour anytime. Sportsnet.ca.
Sports is brought to you by the Hockey Shop in Langley.
Hi, it's Brendan Batchelor. If you have a hockey player to buy for on your Christmas list, you need to check out the Hockey Shop in Langley. Their expert staff have been busy getting their stick racks ready for gift-giving season, and they've got the best selection of Bauer sticks for you to put under the tree, like their newest stick, the Bauer Twitch. It's the ultimate gift for any hockey player. And at the top of every kid's wish list is the Bauer Mystery Mini Stick, and the Hockey Shop has them in stock now. The Hockey Shop in Langley, or online at thehockeyshop.com.
Sleep Shop. Boxing Week Bedlam is here. Get a bundle deal on an adjustable base, queen memory foam mattress, 2 memory foam pillows, all for only $19.98. Plus, enjoy no tax on all Tempur-Pedic mattresses and snag the Queen Spring Air Bed-in-a-Box mattress for only $6.98. Only at Sleep Shop. Visit us in-store in North Vancouver, Richmond and Langley, or online at sleepshop.ca. Sleep Shop for the rest of your life.
Welcome back to 1130 News Radio. I'm Amy Beeman. The suspected killer of a healthcare CEO remains in a Pennsylvania jail. Reporter Lionel Moyes tells us he is fighting extradition to New York.
For months, Luigi Mangione had stopped communicating with family and friends.
And they're completely out of touch and the insult, the intelligence of the American people.
NYPD officials said investigators continue combing through forensic evidence.
You can see that he was very methodical in his actions. We know that he arrived in New York City well before the incident took place.
It could be weeks before Mangione's return to New York to answer to murder charges in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Thompson was killed December 4th as he walked alone to a Manhattan hotel for an investor conference. A Wisconsin man who faked his own drowning and left his wife and 3 children to go to Europe is in police custody. Reporter Eva Pilgrim has more.
Ryan Borgart's name appearing in the Green Lake County Police database overnight, suggesting he is in custody. No charges have been filed, but a press conference is scheduled for later today. It's the latest twist in the case of the 45-year-old Borgart, who was originally reported missing in August when he didn't come home after kayaking, but authorities later saying he faked his own disappearance.
No charges have been listed yet as investigators work to verify the man's description of what happened. Criminal gangs in Brazil are operating in over a third of municipalities in the Amazon rainforest, driving a boom in violence.
A report published on Wednesday by the Brazilian Forum of Public Security finds that in 2024, gangs were present in 260 of the 772 municipalities in the rainforest region, up from around 180 last year. The study says the entrenchment of mafia-like organizations aggravates the situation in what's referred to as the legal Amazon, which is now seen as a key territory for transnational trafficking with the circulation of different illicit goods. One notorious gang, Red Command, has expanded into cities in Brazil's northern region after another took control of the drug trafficking route via Ponta Porra, a municipality on the border with Paraguay. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
1130 News Radio, your traffic and weather are next.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. Trust us. We're #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 1130 News Radio, Vancouver.
Real Canadian Superstore is where it's at for great holiday savings. This week, get a free PC turkey for every $300 spent. Yep, your holiday dinner is on us. Plus, get Cook's ham for only $1.99 a pound. Find more legendary ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore. Conditions apply. See flyer for details.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg. A crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy and egg. Worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing, too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Don't miss the London Drugs Weekly Flyer. During the Canada Post disruption, you can still find London Drugs Weekly Flyer in store or online at londondrugs.com/flyer. That's londondrugs.com/flyer.
11:30 News Radio in the Traffic Center. My name is Alex Carrigan. Thank you for the call. It seems that this situation is still out there in Burnaby. I'm talking about the broken down semi that was over on Marine Way eastbound in between Burn Road and Market Crossing. This wasn't causing much of a delay, but we just got a call reminding us that it is still out there in the middle lane. It's still not causing much of a delay, but you need to know about that one if you're on Marine Way eastbound after Burn Road. That semi truck in the middle lane, it's not moving. You got to get yourself away from that one. We work our way away from that over to the Canby Bridge, down to one lane in each direction. It's road work that has you down to one lane each way here. Up in Vancouver, 6th Avenue eastbound by Alder Street. Looks like landscaping is taking place, and you're down to one lane here. Eastbound a bit slow, westbound is fine. We work our way away from that, and we are seeing some big delays in Langley still over at 232nd at Highway 10. It's a construction zone. Flaggers are on the scene. Obey their instruction. Watch out for that. Highway 1 is great through Surrey and Langley all the way into Abbotsford, though. And also a quick update for those who live in New West. Front Street will not open in either direction between Columbia and Begbie until March 17th. There's a bit of an extension on that one. For a limited time at Specsavers, you can get 50% off lens upgrades to tailor your glasses to your lifestyle. Sounds good, right? Conditions and exclusions apply. See specsavers.ca. We're in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center. It's meteorologist Carl Lamb.
So our high temperature for today, 8 degrees, and we will have a bit of a breeze out of the east, around 20 kilometers per hour, but some of those gusts could be a little stronger as you get closer to the water, but 2 degrees will be the low tonight with partly cloudy conditions. For tomorrow, there could be some sun early, but it's really just a cloudy day, and rain showers start to creep in the afternoon and evening. It's pretty light for Thursday with a high of 6 and a low of 5. And then for Friday, some steadier rain on the way, windy and a high of 7, and then still rain for Saturday and 9. Our daytime high temperature for today is 8.
Weather's by Invictus Professional Snow Fighters. Step out your door each morning to a clear, safe driveway, paths, and stairs. For seasonal residential snow removal and de-icing packages, visit InvictusSnowfighters.com.
Welcome back to 1130 News Radio. I'm Amy Beeman. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is keeping InfoWars for now.
A judge in Houston has rejected the sale of Alex Jones's InfoWars to the satirical news outlet The Onion. Federal bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez cited problems with the auction process and said the outcome left a lot of money on the table for families of the Sandy Hook school shooting who stand to receive most of the proceeds. Judge Lopez left it up to the trustee who oversaw the auction to determine the next steps. The Onion, which had planned to relaunch InfoWars as a parody site, bid $1.75 million in cash plus other incentives, while a company that sells nutritional supplements in Jones's name offered $3.5 million. The decision means Jones can stay at his InfoWars headquarters in Austin, and Jones quickly went back on the air to applaud the judge's decision. I'm Jennifer King.
President-elect Donald Trump wants his son's fiancée to serve as ambassador to Greece.
Kimberly Guilfoyle's nomination to be America's ambassador in Athens is in keeping with some of Trump's other choices. He has tapped son-in-law Jared Kushner's dad to be ambassador to France, and daughter Tiffany's father-in-law will be a key advisor on the Middle East. Kimberly Guilfoyle has been engaged to Donald Trump Jr. for the past 4 years, but her appointment was announced amid a tabloid report that Trump's eldest son was just seen holding hands with another woman. The president-elect says Guilfoyle, a former Fox News host, has for many years been a close ally and friend.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Syria's new leadership is giving more details about their immediate plans for the country's future.
Syria's new interim Prime Minister Mohammed al-Bashir calling on millions of Syrian refugees to come home, vowing to protect all citizens and provide basic services, while at the same time recognizing that that'll be complicated considering the current financial situation. Meanwhile, the main rebel commander saying that anyone who was involved in the torture or killing of detainees under the Assad regime would be hunted down, with pardons out of the question. Inez Deliquatera, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
A Lebanese man held in a Syrian prison for over 32 years has finally returned home.
Sahel Hamwi greeted friends that he hadn't seen in 32 years. In 1992, Hamwi worked as a merchant, selling various goods in the town of Shikka in northern Lebanon. One night, a man came to his door to buy some whiskey. Hamwi said he handed his 10-month-old son, George, to his wife and went to his car to fetch the whiskey and make the sale. As Hamwi approached his vehicle, a car filled with men pulled up, he said, forcing him inside and taking him away. It took almost 20 years before authorities finally told him the charge. He said he was detained because he was a member of the Lebanese Forces, a Christian political party and militia that fought against Syrian forces during Lebanon's civil war. I'm Karen Chamas.
11:30 News Radio. Your business news is next.
11:30 News Radio is your home for winning. It pays to listen.
This week, you could win one of 5 pairs of tickets to see the Three Musketeers live on the historic Stanley Industrial Alliance stage starting January 16th. It's all for one and one for all with this swashbuckling comedy for the ages. Presented by the Arts Club Theatre Company.
For your chance to win, visit vancouver.citynews.ca/contests.
The Bank of Canada is signaling a slower pace of rate cuts going forward, but today it cut by 50 basis points. Likely another cut coming next month, but probably not as big. Jules Boudreau is senior economist at Mackenzie Investments.
We actually do think we will get a cut in January, a 25 beeps cut. We think that's pretty clear. Rates are still too high.
The Canadian dollar right now is higher by 1/10 of a cent, 70.63 cents U.S. All of Canada's big 6 banks will follow the Bank of Canada's lead, dropping their prime lending rates starting tomorrow. The TSX rebounding after 2 days of losses. It was higher by 153 points, 25,657. While on Wall Street, the Nasdaq hit a record high, moving above 20,000 for the first time ever, up by 347 points. It closed above 10,000 for the first time in June of 2020, so 4.5 years ago. The S&P was higher by 49, the Dow down 99. Shares in Apple hit a record high for a 9th straight day, matching the longest streak ever. And then shares in Alphabet also hit an all-time high today. That stock up by more than 5%. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
The Business Report is brought to you by Campbell & Pond Real Estate Appraisers.
No matter the reason, when you need an appraisal, count on the experts at Campbell & Pound. Serving the community since 1939, Campbell & Pound provides expert appraisal services across the metropolitan Vancouver area. The go-to firm in the broker channel, Campbell & Pound is thoroughly vetted by the major banks, credit unions, and most financial institutions in Canada. Need an appraisal during your subject period? Campbell & Pound will service it professionally, efficiently, and accurately. Visit campbell-pound.com.
When your truck and trailer needs repair, who has time to go to separate mechanical, wheel alignment, or body shops to get it fixed? The better choice? ATI Truck Repair. As an ICBC heavy collision shop, they do it all, from medium to heavy truck and trailer repairs, including preventative maintenance, wheel alignment, lift gate, roll-up door, and box repairs. Save downtime and contact ATI today. Your one-stop fleet maintenance shop, accredited by the Better Business Bureau. ATITruckRepair.ca.
Vancouver's trusted news. 11:30 News Radio.
Shrishti Gangdev produces the Afternoon Drive program. Terry Shintz is our news director.
CKWXAM.
A Rogers radio station.
11:30 News Radio, Vancouver.
It's 2 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 11:30 News Radio, Vancouver.
Good afternoon. This is Wednesday, December 11th. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ackerman. Vancouver, partly cloudy and 6 degrees. Here's what's happening right now.
The BCCLA pleads there's going to be a public hearing into the conduct of police officers involved with Miles Gray's death in Vancouver. They say this is an important step towards accountability.
The Prime Minister and the Premier is meeting again this afternoon to talk strategy in response to Donald Trump's tariff threat.
We are not even maintaining service levels year over year. In fact, they're getting worse.
And Vancouver City Councillors voting to move the iconic East Van Cross after one of them raised concerns about visibility at its current location.
The Canucks looking at some positives from the overtime loss to the Blues last night. The Whitecaps locking up a pair of midfielders for next season and beyond. Sports at 15.
The TSX jumps by more than 100 points after another interest rate cut, while the NASDAQ hits a record. It jumped by more than 300 points. Business at 26.
It's 2:01 to the traffic center. Say hello to Alex Kerrigan.
Well, hello there, John. We are still seeing some pretty noticeable delays for that Canby Bridge down to one lane in each direction. Unfortunately, that is going to live in our traffic script for quite some time because that road work will not wrap up till sometime next year. So a lot of drivers are getting used to the Granville Bridge. That road work is wrapped up, by the way. And they're also getting used to the Dunsmuir Viaduct. Yeah, a really good workout earlier today, but it has concluded that workout. It's good to go, so you can get put yourself onto that route. We work our way over to Oak at 70th. Of course, 2 lanes each way. Southbound is a lot busier than northbound.